Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Let us introduce ourselves. My name is Winda Isnaini Putri and my partner Nur Laila. We are from group 1. We would like to present about describing EFL learners and teachers. So, TEFL stands for Teaching English as a Foreign Language. Foreign is not the same as a second language. A foreign language is a language that is learned with specific purpose. The second language is used in a country where the original language is not English, but English is used as the national language. Describing learners, there are 3 classifications you must know to understand what is learners. They are age, learner differences, and motivation. For the first one, I'd like to explain about age. To determine the appropriate learning method, age is one of the benchmarks that must be considered. This is because when a person's age is different, their needs, abilities, and cognitive skills are also different. The second one is adolescence. Regardless of individual experiences, adolescents by nature have a great capacity for learning, great creativity potential, and a passionate commitment to the thing that interests them. This certainly makes learning more interesting because at this age they have a high enthusiasm for learning objectives. For the third is adult learner. Adult learners have some characters. They are, for the first, they have the competence to think abstractly. Second, the various kinds of life experiences they have can be drawn. Third, higher level of discipline than young children or adolescents. Fourth, they often have a clear concept of why they are learning and what they want to get out of it. As teachers of adults, we must pay attention to know the need to minimize adverse effects based on past learning experiences. It can be done by reducing the fear of failure by providing achievable activities. Next, we are going to learn about learner differences. There are aptitude, good learner characteristics, learner styles, language levels, individual variations, and what to do about individual differences. Aptitude is a natural ability for doing something, and then good learner characteristics. A good learner can be by narrowing the character possessed by the learner. Themes when done, then we will be able to help to develop the characteristics of the learner. For the third, learner styles. There are 4 different learning styles in a group. For the first is their enthusiast. For the second is oracular, and for the third, participator, and for the last is rebel. Language levels. There are 3 basic levels. First is beginner, second is intermediate, and third is advanced. For the fifth, individual variations. There are 2 theories in particular which have tried to account individual variations. For the first, neuro-linguistic programming and MI theory. Then for the number 6, what to do about individual differences. We must begin with the recognition of students as individuals and as members of the group. Then we need to establish who the different students in our class are to ensure the level of their language. For example, we can see their scores on different tests and we can monitor their progress through formal and informal observation. Next page. Motivation. There are two types of motivation. For the first one is extrinsic motivation, a factor caused by a number of external factors such as graduate, the hope of getting a prize, and others. For the second is intrinsic motivation, comes from within the individual. It's happened because a person may be motivated by the enjoyment of the learning process itself. Let's move to describe teachers. Okay, teacher is facilitator. It means the people who helps a group of students to reach their studying target in the classroom. Facilitator must give the learners space to improve their innovation and creativity by themselves. Teacher should teach you to change what you think or your idea that you have better. There are 8 roles of teachers. For the second one for the number 1 is controller. For the number 1 is controller. For the number 1 is controller. Teacher acts as controller, which is the teacher has responsibility to their learners in the classroom. The teacher controls all of the learners' activities and classroom that the teacher teaches. For the second one is organizer. The other important thing is organizing. The teacher should have ability to organize when the learners do an activity in the classroom. Next, assessor. The next role is assessor. Teacher as assessor. It means they should give score and feedback to their student. Then prompter. When learners lose their idea and get trouble in classroom, teacher should make decision whether the learner tries by themselves or the teacher gives their help to the learners. And then participant. Basically, as a teacher, they should organize and lead learning process. But in this case, teacher acts as participant. The teacher joins learning activity in the classroom, but not as teacher. The teacher follows discussion with the learners. With this role, the teacher can be more closer with the learners. The teacher should not dominate the activity with the learners in the classroom. And then resource. The teacher should be available to the learners and helpful to them. But the teacher also should be careful about this, because if the teacher overacts as a resource, it makes them dependency. Next, tutor. This role is important because it will be often used to the learners. The learners need guidance and support by the teacher when they do something in the classroom. In this case, the students feel helped and supported by the teacher. For the last is a observer. The teacher acts as observer, so the teacher can give feedback to the learners. During the activity in the classroom, the teacher will monitor the learner. It can give the teacher more information about that classroom and how success the class has been. Okay, so that's all from first group. Thank you for your attention. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.